What is going on, you guys? This is Bach the Rock, and today, guys, we are getting into, of course, first of all, I have to check my microphone real quick, just to be on the safe side that it is working, and I'm going to double check my thing. But guys, today, if you guys are reading said video, today we are getting into, of course, the meat, the potatoes, and royally the stew. What is going on, Hulky? Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the stream. So today, guys, before I got that welcome in, today, guys, we are going to get into the meat and potatoes, the stew, the anime classic. Now, and I'm going to say this term likely, but think of any anime blood battle, any brutal beating, and I'm talking any anime. We are talking the downfall of Johnny Somali, or as we're going to call him the whole time, Ramsey Kahlid Ismael. That's right, guys. Today we are going over the meat and potatoes, the whole shebang of how bad he is royally pretty much beaten. And the reason why I'm saying that term likely, guys, because he just had. So, first off, guys, just to fill you guys in exactly on what went down, per se. First, like I said, I know I'm stalling a little bit. I am checking my audio real quick. So, if you hear any feedback, I humbly apologize. I just want everything to be a 100% perfect, of course. I just want everything to be 100% perfect so I can be able to tell if my audio is working. Because, guys, I am in how you say the whole meat and potatoes kind of deal. Of course, if this thing will allow me to get into my own stream. That's one thing I don't like about YouTube nowadays, because they always do this thing where they have to post up a little bit of a stream or an advertisement before you can get into your thing. But anyway, guys, we're gonna get into the meat and potatoes. So, guys, if you didn't hear the news, or if you guys didn't see the news, like I said, I am going to link some of the people of their perspectives about the Ramsey Kahlid Ismael case right down below. But enough about the stalling. We're going to get into the meat and potatoes. So, as of Friday, if you guys didn't hear it, so here's what we know so far. So first, if you guys don't remember, Ramsey Kahlid Ismael has basically had his court date on Friday. So the news was, I'm going to close YouTube and get it back out again. So the news was, of course, that he made a settlement with Youngman, one of the Korean YouTubers who basically, of course, he tried to make a settlement with about a deep fake charge. Now, to brush you guys up on a little bit, a deep fake would be like an AI generated of someone in a different lighting. Okay? So like say you was kissing somebody and it was like a peck on the cheek. If someone has that picture, they can AI it and make it look something in the wrong category. Okay? So now that you guys know what a deep fake is, here's basically the meat and potatoes. So basically, Jungmann had a uh, deep fake made of him with Ramsey's so-called temporary big spoon, Hank Yu. So this is what happened. So basically, Ramsey made a settlement and was going to see about getting that deep fake dropped. Sorry, guys, I'm just in a good mood. I had to drink a little bit of the 2-liter. So, we're going to start off from the nitty gritty. So, So, as we all know, he basically was saying he got a deep fake case dropped due to the fact of Jungmann. However, when he went into court Friday, this is what we know. Facing up to 8 charges, 4 obstructions of businesses, 2 minor crimes offenses, or 2 minor crimes acts, and 2 deepfake charges. Apparently, the deepfake charge he was hoping that would be dropped did not drop. Now, it pretty much was there. So basically, from that information, he got pummeled so bad. Like the worst way he got pummeled was when Jotaro Kujo from Stardust Crusaders of JoJo's Bizarre Adventures faced off against the main villain Dio. And and if you guys ever saw Stardust Crusaders, that beating was a massacre. Like, I am talking like completely a machine gun pile driver battle. Anyway, so here's the facts that I'm going to lay down. And as I said, I'm going to link down below some of the YouTubers that covered this, which means I'm going to link Legal Mindsets videos from Fast Facts to the original. I'll link Atozi's version, and I will even link down anyone else's perspectives. So here was the cap for that one, why the deepfake charge was still in effect. He was hoping to get deepfake charge with Jungmann dropped with a settlement. And basically what that meant was he met with Jungmann and basically tried to make a settlement. But let's just say he was cut down. But was cut down. And when I mean cut down, I mean like, yeah, the settlement didn't go through. Because here's the reason. It was unofficial, and the South Korean prosecutors have the authority to drop the charges or not. So, which means is, even though the settlement was unofficial and they never were brought to the prosecutors, even if it was brought up to the prosecutors, it was their decision whether to drop it or not, depending on how serious the charge was. So, the deep fake charge was not dropped. Okay. So so the next part of this, guys, is they had closing statements. Now, I will have to read the closing statements, which means I will have to pull up I'll have to pull up the one of the videos to find the closing statement from Johnny Somali, or in this case Ramsey Kahlid Ismael. I can't even speak right today because I'm just in a good mood, you know. Like I said, I'm in a good mood. I am in a state of mind. So give me 1 sec. I'll have to use one of the Legal Mindsets things because let's see. Here we go. I'll have to turn down the volume because because I have to find the quick notes. And guys, I am gonna read Ramsey's closing statement. So give me 1 sec to find it. Let's see. Hold on. A little. Well, closing argument or closing statement. So, and this is the funny thing. I'm gonna read this, and this is from the Fast Facts of Legal Mindsets video for a quick. So this is his argument. So he says this word for word, and I am going to read this, and then basically I'm going to fill in some pieces. So he says, and I quote, "I sincerely apologize for my actions in Korea. I express remorse for the incident for which I was charged. I have been held captive in Korea for a year and a half, during which time I committed no crimes." I'm going to stop there and put in my pieces for that one. You disrespected co-workers. You obstructed 4 businesses. You have several pending investigations on you because of the whole Lotte World incident, and especially being dumb and carrying your phone or the JBL speaker to pretty much do speech to text. Now, to mind you guys, and you guys can put this in the chat, which is on the right, on the left hand side, or in this case, to the right hand side, depending on how I screen, because I don't know how to fix the mirror portion of it. But beside the point, you've been carrying around your JBL speaker for a year and a half, Ramsey, and you're telling me you're suffering. Yeah, if you weren't doing anything, if you weren't committing no crimes, you wouldn't have been that stupid and used common sense or used a translator. However, let's continue. And he said, and learn to integrate into society during that time. I did some foolish things under the influence of alcohol. Uh, yeah. Here's my point per se on there, because I'm going to say that. Uh, he said, I did some foolish things under the influence of alcohol. Some stuff, yeah, he was under the influence of alcohol. But rest of the time when he was going around trolling people or doing stupid stuff, he was not drunk at all. And anybody with a brain would know that. I mean, like if someone was a drunk, guys, in my perspective, if someone was drunk, their words would be slurring. They would look like they was wibble wobbling, like those weeble wobble toys. You know, like they would sway back and forth. Like for example, so like say if I was drinking hypothetically, and my vision was off, I would be swaying. If you ever wore those beer goggles where it makes you see the eyes of a drunk, then yeah, everything would look disoriented, dizzy, you know, stuff like that. So if he was under the influence of alcohol, then anybody would have recognized it right away. And I realize the consequences. I sincerely apologize for this. Yeah, I highly doubt that anybody would believe that apology. And this is the bold bulletin point where he's really cooking with gas. Having been born and raised in the United States, I did not realize how serious the consequences of these actions, which would not be considered criminal in the United States, could be in Korea. Okay. Now that piece I am literally going to cut out and point here. So you think it would be considerate like if you're in a gas station, you make a mess, you do something stupid like cuss out employees, or you cuss out like waitresses or employees. You think that's like that's you don't think they would take that seriously? You wouldn't think you wouldn't get thrown out, or someone would probably have the right to throw a pie in your face or dump a drink like a hot coffee on your head because you think that's acceptable behavior. Now, honestly, if you would let's say he did this in a bar, guys. Okay, let's say he did this in a bar. If he did this in a bar and a gentleman was nice enough to see the situation, I know one thing that would happen. The gentleman would tell him to knock it off, and if he were to talk a big game like he did in South Korea, I could just see it. Someone just wind up and give him a lump of sugar, like clink, right in the jaw. I could see that happening, lickety split. Anyway, let's continue. I've reached an agreement with Lee Jong Chain, or in this case, he's talking about the Korean YouTuber Youngman, or regarding the two deepfakes cases. Correction. And now this is where he screwed up. He said two deepfake cases. Pause that. Rewind. He said two deepfake charges when he only has one with Lee Jong Chan, or in this case, Youngmong. Youngmong. The other one is with another South Korean streamer named Bong Bong. And he no longer seeks punishment. Okay. Again, here in that portion, that's up to the prosecutors, not to anybody else. Bong Bong made it clear in court that she herself was unaware that distributing deepfake videos was a crime, and initially viewed them as not as sexual content but as funny images. If she a Korean didn't recognize the same act as a crime, how could he, an American, have known it was? Okay, so basically on that statement, guys, so rereading this again, here's my take on this. Okay? Bong Bong made it clear in court that she herself was unaware that distributing deep fake videos was a crime, and initially viewed them as not as sexual content but as funny images. If she, a Korean, didn't recognize the same act as a crime, how could he, an American, have known it was? Okay, so first off, let me break this down because Ramsey is obviously not right in the head with this one. If you guys don't remember a while back when he first got there and he was first detained, you guys remember how he kept taunting South Koreans to come find him. He made a second video when he was in the police station, and he literally showed a picture of him and Bong Bong. The deep fake was showed, and he was basically, and the deep fake was made to make it look like they were girlfriend. And he kept on saying, "Oh, this is my Korean girlfriend." So during that time he distributed it first. So, or he had somebody make it and then he distributed it first. Bong Bong only showed it to her stream to show that it was not true. And on top of that, he basically, so I see the point in that one, but at the same time, Bong Bong didn't distribute it. She only showed it as a funny image because she knew that Ramsey distributed it first. So she was showing what was going around and basically just proving a point that what he's saying was just hot smoke. Basically, it was just pretty much blowing smoke. And if you guys are in for the meat and potatoes of the stream, welcome, welcome. As I said before, you guys are welcome to chat up and chat, and we can keep this keep the ball rolling. If you guys have any questions, yeah, I know it's crazy, Hulky. I know it's crazy, and I'll tell you this much though: we are going to get deeper into the stew because Ramsey just pretty much got it worse. But you'll find out when I get to that point. Okay, but continuing on from his statement or his argument. Also, when I asked Bong Bong whether he had the defendant's consent to distribute the videos, Bong Bong replied no. Okay, so this one is really, really kind of like a flamethrower from a Charizard right upside the head with him. So basically, Ramsey distributed it. I can't even speak right. Can't say words right. Ramsey distributed the photo or the video first, but when Bong Bong showed it to her stream, to everyone she knows, so she could prove, hey, this is bull, all that stuff, he basically is attacking her for showing the video when he distributed it distribute it first. Yeah, I can't even speak. I'm sorry, guys. I can't even speak right today. So he didn't have. So first, let me take a swig of this. Okay. Excuse me. So basically, how he's wording it is that he distributed the photo, or the video, or the photo first. But yet, when she did it, he's attacking her for not having his consent. But yet, he pulled a reverse of reverse. So basically, he showed the thing, but didn't ask for her consent. But she does the same thing, and he's attacking her. Yeah, that's not how that works, buddy. Not how that works. So anyway, let's continue on with his argument. He said the law is unfair since the police didn't do anything when I tried to report Bong Bong. All I'm asking is for the law to apply fairly. Oh, wow. So, in other words, kind of like if he was in another country. Now, if you guys never saw some of Ramsey's works, let me explain some of the stuff he's done. Because he wants to talk about fairly. If you guys don't remember, he almost got arrested. Well, he got arrested in Japan. He played the race card. So, like, when he was about to get arrested, he asked him, is it because he was African American? And when he was in Tel Aviv and he was getting arrested and detained, he yelled he was an American. So basically, anytime he is about to get arrested, he either plays a religion card, a race card, or a national card. But yet he wants to talk about the law being applied fairly. Okay, I think he's pretty much getting what he deserves on that one. I mean, like I said, you could think the way he's getting hammered right now with all this, you could think of the worst anime beatings you can think of. Like I could name some animes where the villain gets a proper beat down, where it is brutal, bloody, or pretty much almost close to the point where he goes flying through a brick wall. That's how bad Ramsey's losing this case. So anyway, let's finish this up and I'll continue on. And he says, I want to appeal to the prosecution and the police. It's unfair if Bong Bong and I receive different punishments. I'm still young and I want to see my family and go home. Please show leniency. Okay. What's up, Mean Bird? And it is Bach the Rock Man. But anyway, guys, so this last part, which I think is funny, I'll reread this part again, and then I'm gonna put in my piece. I want to appeal to the prosecution and the police. It's unfair if Bong Bong and I receive different punishments. I'm still young, and I want to see my family and go home. Please show leniency. Okay, so if you guys don't remember, in some of his videos, he said his family disowned him. Okay, so his family tried to talk him out of all the mess he's done traveling. Okay, now if you guys saw my first video about me calling out Ramsey Kahlid Ismael, showing all of his crimes, doing all that stuff, then you guys know exactly why his family disowned him and is ashamed that he is his son, that he is their son. Okay? You guys know all the stuff he's done. Especially some of the stuff he even did that literally caused national problems and made national propaganda and news. Okay? That just he is dumber than a sack of potatoes. I am sorry, but he is dumber than a sack of potatoes. I mean, heck, he is so Ramsey Kahlid Ismael is so dumb that if he were to get into a fight with Star Platinum for running his mouth, Star Platinum would pummel him with a barrage of attacks that it could lead to complete and total misdemeanors. Like, we're talking smack dab misdemeanors. But beside the point, guys, but the point is that basically he is in some serious hot water, and canola with the cooking. Now, and his family disowned him so bad, it basically, they just pretty much should have just knocked him upside the head with a rolling pin when he was a kid. With all the stupid stuff he's done. Anyway, Judge gave Ramsey Kahlid Ismael the side eye when he claimed the blame of South Korea culture and tried to blame Bong Bong and imply she should be punished. Now, if you guys remember, deep fakes in South Korea hold up to a 7-year leniency. 7 years in jail. So, if you think about it, he should have gotten the whole 7 years for both pieces. He should have gotten 7 years for both pieces, but they're not going to do the maximum penalty. Instead, they're going to be doing little bits and bobs of each crime. But there's going to be more news about it, but I'm going to give you guys the exact date. Okay, but here's the sentencing recommendations. Firstly, prosecutors suggest 3 years in prison with labor, a fine of 150,000 Korean won, and sex offender registration. He is going to be getting all that possibly. That is a likely possibility. Because if you guys don't remember, he had some investigations from the Lotte World incident. With the Lotte World incident, he basically did the thing where he had his JBL speaker going. He had South Korean stuff playing. So when that stuff was playing, most of the people translated some stuff in Korean, so he could not understand it. But the people around him were pretty much understanding every word, nook and cranny. So when the people played stuff in South Korean, he did not know what was said. So that's his stupidity on that one, but he's getting what he deserves. Besides the recommendation at the top, which I said the prosecutor suggested 3 years in prison with labor, a fine of 150,000 Korean won, and sex offender registration, the court is very likely to adopt prosecution's recommendations or give a little below it. And here's on top of that. His 2 smartphones are forfeited. So what that means is with his 2 smartphones being forfeited, he can't live stream. He can't do anything out in public and all that stuff. And plus, here's the nitty gritty. And this is a little bit lower than the bill. As a registered sex offender, his labor will be likely limited to factory or prison toilets. Picking cabbages outside may be off the table. Required to publicly disclose his sex offender status and put him in mandatory sex offender treatment. Meaning he literally put himself in the boat with that one. And if he has to come back to the U.S., here's the worst part of his thing. If registered as a Korean sex offender, he may need to register as a U.S. sex offender under U.S. federal law, which is SORNA. That means if he wants to come back to the States, he has to register as a South Korean sex offender to a U.S. sex offender. So this mess just got him into a whole peck of trouble. Now, so besides those potatoes in the stew, here's the best part. Now, if you guys remember, he asked for leniency. So, but here's the other part. I forgot to add these to the bulletins. So, after he has to register through SORNA, he would be required to register upon 3 business days of entering the United States. He must register in any U.S. jurisdiction where they reside, work, or attend school. and failure to register in the U.S. can carry a 10 years jail sentence. So basically, with him having to register as a sex offender over there, he has to register as a sex offender over here in the U.S. But anyway, so the next trial date, guys, which is going to be probably the creme de la creme, the icing on the cake and the cherry on top, is April 15th of this year. So, which means we have one more trial date, which I'm pretty sure they are going to really season the meat and potato stew because this is probably going to be the last trial date before the final sentencing, and then he is up the river. Now, like I said, guys, we don't know what his stuff will be, but this is but for the meat and potatoes that we know for sure, we know that basically he will have 3 years of prison sentence with labor. But remember, as we stated, because he's going to be a registered sex offender, either factory or prison toilets is going to be the work. Picking cabbages outside may be off the table, but he also has to publicly disclose his information. So we know he's going to be getting that much. But what the final comes up, let's just hope that it's going to be a gum jet Gatling attack, because this might be the last strike that'll send him through the wall instead of right back. But anyhow, guys, I figured I'd give you guys the news. Since I gave you all the meat and potatoes, I also wanted to apologize as well. Last night, I was going to do some Darkest Dungeons 2, but I was not able to do so because I wasn't feeling too hot, But I may do some gameplay tonight when I get home, and I'm hoping to do so. But if you guys like the news and would like to know more, like I said, I will leave links down below if you guys want to know more about the information. Again, I'll leave links to Atozi, Legal Mindset, and anybody's perspective on the Ramsey Kahlid Ismael case of Friday. And like I said, guys, I'm also going to keep ears to the grindstone. Plus, a few buddies of mine on Discord will keep me in the loop when the trial comes up. And once we get that, I will pop up a video and give you guys my honest opinion. But for now, if you guys like the content, be sure to like, subscribe, and favorite. Comment down below. Turn on notification bells so anytime I go live, you get the ring-a-ding-ding. Know I'm in the bling. If you guys are from the other side of the world, have a good morning, good evening, good night. If you're from the other side of the world, reverse of reverse. If you're from the good old USA, have a good night to a good morning to a good day. Bach the Rock sign out. I'll catch you guys on the flip side. Again, if I'm on later, I will catch you guys on Darkest Dungeons 2. If not, I'll catch you guys soon. Peace out, and I will catch you guys later.